Okay, today we are going to start our chapter number 2, Introduction to Ethics. Here we have the overview or the outline of our this chapter. We will actually discuss different ethical theories, okay, or the different ethical approaches, and then we will actually compare those theories, and then we will discuss the morality of breaking the law, okay. So we start with this picture. You see, this is a picture from space, and it is actually showing you the image of London. It is just to show that we actually live in the communities, in a kind of scattered communities, and we will discuss actually what does community mean. Okay. Again, it is just a kind of recap what we already discussed. What is actually the ethical point of view, or why we need ethics? What do you say? Please, anyone? Any idea? Everyone has some basic needs, like we need food, we need shelter, we want to live in peace. Everyone. I mean, it doesn't matter either he is living in America or in jungle somewhere in Africa. Everyone needs some basic necessities. But you may say on top of those basic necessities, everyone needs security. Everyone wants to live in a peace. If I mean the modern concept of the state or the societies or the communities, why actually we develop these communities? Why we come up with this modern concepts of states? Because it's like some kind of old philosophy that might is right. Although in some countries, in some societies, still might is right, isn't it? But we actually want to, live with a way that everyone either is weak or strong. Everyone can actually live in a peaceful way, okay? So we need some core values, the values that have some kind of common understanding, okay, the common sharing of values. And similarly, when we say that we need some kind of ethics or some kind of the shared values, it means we have two different views of the world. One is actually, in simple words, you may say selfish point of view. What is the selfish point of view? What does it mean? Yes, you just think about yourself. It's my life and it's my choice how to live it. And if I have the power, it doesn't matter how I use it, I can use it. I have a lot of money, and there are some people who are actually looking for some basic foods, but I don't pay for them because it's my money. This is kind of a selfish view. I have 3 cars, and maybe some other is actually in the need of very basic kind of sports, kind of what we call it, the transport need. But I actually own these cars, so other ones have no right. Okay, the other point of view is the ethical point of view. This is, okay, it's my choice. If I have many cars and I don't want to share my cars, it's okay. But there are some, like, okay, I am on the road, I have very fancy car, but it doesn't mean that I will not obey the rules of the traffic. And it's because I am wealthy, so I will just hit the others who are just walking. Because again, what I said, we have some shared values. And why we actually come up with this idea of the community or the, you know, the some kind of basic rules or the law, so that the law or the community are the actually the enforcement agencies. They can actually protect the rights of those who are actually weak. And it is not necessarily about, I mean, the comparison between weak and strong. Okay, we are equally good, and again we have the different inclinations, we have different likes and dislikes, but we want to, I mean, we want to live in harmony. So we need some kind of, you know, the common, the mutual understanding that how to live. Okay, so these are the two views, selfish view and the ethical point of view. Now what I said, society is actually the gathering of the people, who have different inclinations. Maybe they have the different, you know, the backgrounds, like in terms of their education, in terms of their whatever we call the their social status. So we need some kind of rules to actually live in a way that is equally, you know, good for everyone. Okay, what is morality? We discussed already this concept, morality. What is morality? Just the shared understanding of what is good and bad within the society. That is morality. How we feel about good and bad. What is good, what is bad. Okay? Virtue and vice. That is actually the morality. And morality may differ in different societies. Okay? And it is actually the debatable issue we will discuss. Ethics. What is ethics? Exactly. You may say that the formal, actually, you know, the documentation or the formal teaching or the formal way of actually explaining what is good and bad, that is ethics. Okay? So we also actually evaluate or assess others based on our ethics. We have some set of rules, and then we actually say that, okay, is something that is acceptable or unacceptable. Do you agree? Okay, just see this picture. This is to actually differentiate between morality and ethics. We have a network of roads and there is traffic. Okay, so here we have the balloons, air balloons, ethical theory 1, 2, 3, 4. What does it mean? That the people on the roads, okay, these are like the, you know, you may say that this is kind of morality, or these are the kind of the rules that you need to obey. The proper road that you need to follow. So if you are following that specific road, it means you are following your whatever are the ethics and your morality. Okay, but there are some others, you know, the subways, and you, rather than following the proper, you know, the proper way, you just make a shortcut. That is again kind of immorality. That is kind of a bad behavior that you actually do. Now what you are actually doing, either you are following whatever is your morality or whatever is the shared, you know, the belief of the society, or you are actually, you know, kind of deviating from those moral rules. So we have different, you know, these are like bird views. We have the bird view. We are on the top. We have different philosophical thinkings, and based on those philosophical thinking, we may decide that either it's good or bad. I mean, for one ethical philosophy, maybe your wrong action is justified. You may say that, okay, what I am doing, like, okay, I have 5 cars and my neighbor, my neighbor has no car. Okay, rather than sharing my one of my cars with my neighbor, okay, I can justify it. That, okay, it's my money, it's my choice, that's why I'm not sharing. And if it's the other way around, okay, I am donating all my 5 cars, again I can justify it. So it means nothing is like right and wrong. Nothing is like a universal standard. So different people have different justification for their actions, okay, and that is debatable. Do you understand? Okay, why we study ethics? Obviously, whatever we are actually doing, we need, what I said, we need justification, we need some kind of rational approach for our decisions, okay? That's why we need to understand different ethical philosophies. And secondly, what I said, now the advancement of technology is too fast. I mean, we are very dependent on the technology, and we are, I mean, most of the time we are connected with the gadgets, with the different devices. So in this situation, now not everyone is actually the IT professional. There are, I mean, we use the term layman. There are many people, they actually don't have any idea about the technology, and they have, you know, the different kind of issues. And it's not only the, you know, the knowledge of or understanding of technology. Then again, we have good and bad people everywhere in the society. Like I think yesterday or day before yesterday, in news it was reported that someone actually installed the hidden cameras in the beauty parlor. It's not about, I mean, the camera is actually is a piece of technology. Okay, the usage is actually dependent on us, that how we use it. And then again, what is the justification, or what are the implications of the usage? So we need to understand it. So that's why here what the term common wisdom. So we don't have the common wisdom when we are, I mean, we are interacting with the technology. Okay, there are different scenarios, there are different, you know, situations in which we need to actually understand what are the guidelines, I mean the ethics, okay, and what are actually the scenario, and how to actually tackle with this scenario in a good way. That's why we need actually this course. Okay, here are a few scenarios to actually get the more understanding, or we want to, I mean, to realize the importance of ethics. Okay, that why we need to understand the good practices, why we need to study ethics. So in this first scenario, there is a student. She is poor, and she actually doesn't have a computer. And then in her school, there are some assignments. If a student actually you know, attempts those extra assignments, then he or she will get some extra grades, some extra marks. So now to do those assignments, Alexis, the girl, actually is looking for the computer. So what she does, she goes to the library, the public library, and then she just you know, secretly actually just just note down the username and password of one user who was actually working there, and then using that username and password, in other words unauthorized login, she attempted all those assignments, those extra assignments that were like supposed to submit in the school to get some extra marks. Okay, so she did it. She got good grades. Then she got a full scholarship for higher studies. So now it's like a kind of debate. There are different questions. Did Alexis do anything wrong? I mean, she just steal the username and password. Is it okay for her? Who benefited from Alexis' course of action? I mean, who was actually the ultimate beneficiary of that action? Who was hurt by the Alexis course of action? No one? Really? I think if there is a public resource That is by public money. And that is supposed, I mean, you are using the password of someone, a username. So it means you are actually making, you know, the account for that particular user. Perhaps you need to pay for it. It's quite possible. Okay, apparently no, but then there are, I mean, different possibilities. Did Alexis have an unfair advantage over high school classmates? It's the same case. Few people are actually cheating on the back rows, and some others are actually quite good, and they actually don't cheat. So those who are cheating are getting good grades, and then the guys who are not actually cheating, they complain that why you actually allow them to cheat. So I mean, everyone should have the equal resources, isn't it? So it's all the questions here we have. These are debatable. We may have the different answers to these questions, like are there better ways Alexis could have achieved her objective? Maybe she could write an application to the school or to the library and to get the formal access. There may be some other possibilities. She can request some friend to actually borrow the laptop or the computer. What additional information, if any, would help you answer the previous questions? Obviously, when you have some scenario, okay, you based on the information that is given, okay. If you have some extra information, your decision will be perhaps better. Like I said, maybe every user in the library is charged for the usage of computer. So we have no such information. So that's why we may say that no one actually got harmed by the Alexis behavior or the Alexis action. But case may be the different. Isn't it? Okay, now just see the another scenario. There is an organization who want to reduce the spam. What is a spam? Again, spam is kind of unauthorized email. Is just you know, the junk email that we every day we receive in our inbox, multiple emails from different, you know, different individuals, different organizations. I every day I mean, I get the email that okay, I am the widow of maybe Colonel Gaddafi, and I have like $80 billion or 80 billion real, and I want to actually contact you. You are the honest person. You get the email like okay, you won the Jeeto Pakistan, like 5 lakh rupees, or the Emirates airline air ticket for London. So these are all the spam emails. Anyways, so sometimes this is just a junk email, okay? Like the people with a bad intention, okay? They actually want to contact you or want to do some action. Maybe when you click on the link, it is some kind of virus that installed on your computer. But there are people or the organization, they actually do it for their business. Like you get, every day we get SMS, okay, text messages from Word, GA, Ideas, and so on. Many companies, they actually, you know, persuade you to actually come, visit, and shop. Anyways, so organization actually want to reduce those kind of emails, spam. They hire a company and they actually come up with some idea or some, you know, some technique or the program or the application or the software that actually blocks all those IP, you know, servers, addresses, like, you know, the email servers. Like I say, gmail.com is actually banned because it is just sending a lot of spam emails, okay, junk emails. So now on the one side it is actually okay, the advantage is the spam emails are dropped by 25%. But on the other side, those, kind of banned addresses, okay, now they cannot actually communicate. If you are using that email address for very valid reasons, you are contacting your friends, your relatives, your, colleagues, but because that is in the blacklisted category, so your email is not delivered. This is a scenario in which you have the advantage, and you also are actually, depriving your customers of that specific ISP. Okay? So now just see this. There are different questions, possible questions. Did the anti-spam organization do anything wrong? Again, it's like that was a problem, they fixed it. But maybe there are some better solutions to actually fix it. Did the ISP that refused to accept email from the blacklisted ISPs do anything wrong? Those who are actually not accepting the email from those blacklisted, either it's okay. Okay, there are actually, the two different things. One is actually the ethical point of view, and the second one is actually the legal point of view. Okay, so we need to actually consider the both. Who benefited from the organization's action? Who was hurt by the organization's action? Could the organization have achieved its goal in a better way? Some other solution? Okay, what additional information could help? So similar questions, but in a different scenario. Okay, just see this another scenario. Traffic police in American state, East Dakota state, okay, they install speed cameras on the road. They have like very good system, image processing system. They have high resolution images, they process it, and then they find the drivers that are actually overspeeding. Okay, then FBI actually contacts that police department and requests to give the real-time access to actually locate the criminals, and then they actually, they catch some criminals, okay, through those cameras that are installed for the overspeeding. Okay, the people are actually, they have this understanding that these cameras are just to actually locate the overspeeding cars. Okay, now did the police do anything wrong? Who benefited from the action of the police? Who was harmed by the actions? What other courses of action could possible? What additional information that can actually help? Here we have another scenario. There is a startup company. Okay, he is actually developing a software for some company who is involved in sales. And the software that they are actually going to deliver, that software has some bugs, some issues that actually the software company knows very well. Okay, but because they have actually competition with the others, competitors in the market, other vendors in the market. Okay, so the term we use is like time to market, that how much time we need to actually, and when we actually introduce our product. It is very important. If you are very good in developing your product, but you actually, you are making your product kind of a perfect product, and the same time, meanwhile, another competitor, they introduce their product in the market, it is quite possible they will actually capture the large share of the market because they are actually delivering first. So in this context, they actually think, that startup company, that okay, we should deliver this software with those known bugs that are known to them, okay, and then later on we can fix it, and in that way we can actually get the market share of our customers. So now, how you look at this scenario? Should you recommend release of the product next week? Who will benefit if the company follows your recommendation? If you as a is as an expert, suggest to your company that okay, just delay it and don't actually deliver this system, and first we will fix the problems, issues that we actually know, and then we will deliver. Who will be harmed if the company actually follows your recommendation? So whenever you have any problem or any situation to deal with, you actually have to have the benefits and the disadvantages. Okay, I mean, there is always trade-off. If you are taking the option A, what are the advantages, what are the disadvantages? On the other side, if you are going for the other option, then what will be the possible benefits, what will be the possible disadvantages? Okay, and then again, like whenever you are in such situation, you actually I mean, it is always good to actually ask for the information as much as possible. Okay, I always say that everyone has his own truth. Okay, when I will actually share my experience, that will be the story of my side. Okay, but if in that story there is another party involved and you ask the other party, they will have, quite possible they have completely different version of their story. So we actually present the information in a way that suits us, isn't it? So that's why it's good to actually have as much as possible information. Any question till now? Okay, these are just the scenarios to actually kind of it's a kind of food for thoughts. Okay, you need to think about the different possibilities. Okay, what are the different alternates? Whenever you are in real life, it's not like only the single solution or the single way of thinking or just the one approach to actually solve the problem. Okay, there are always different solutions possible that can be actually discussed, that can be actually implemented. Okay, now what we said, the ethical point of view. Ethical point of view is like we want the society, we want the community with kind of acceptable environment for everyone. Doesn't matter, whatever is the belief of the member of the community, whatever is social status, but we need to have some sort of the common values, the common the sheer understanding. Okay, so when we say ethics or the ethical study, it means that we want to come up with some rational approach. Okay, we want to come up with some justifications, we want to come up with some kind of analysis. Okay, like in the last lecture we discussed that whenever we have to take decision, we have to understand the problem first, and then we actually think about the different possibilities. Okay, now the different approaches and the different possibilities may have the different thinking, isn't it? So when we are actually talking about analysis, when we are talking about the assessment, so it could be better when we have some facts, some evidences, some useful factual information, not only on the assumptions. Okay, in scientific experiments, in science, what we do, we have evidence, we have observation, and then we actually, based on the facts, on the data, we actually conclude. Okay, now another discussion is actually where we apply ethics. Here we use the term the voluntary moral choices. Like as I earlier said, I have 5 cars. Okay, fine. I have red car. Red is my favorite color. It is something that has some relation with the ethics? No. It's my personal choice. You may like black, I like white. It depends. These are the personal choices. Okay. It is kind of involuntary, and it has nothing with the morals. Although it's, I mean, in the broader spectrum. Okay, when we discuss communities, when we discuss cultures, different colors have different meanings. Like red color is maybe the sign of danger in some society, and red is the color of happiness in China. So, I mean, the colors have the different meanings. When we are actually interacting with the different cultures, we need to actually observe the others' cultures, and we will discuss in detail in the coming slides. Okay, but here what we are discussing, that ethics is for the volunteer choices. Okay, like I am driving the car and someone suddenly actually, you know, crosses the road and I hit the guy. See? So this is not something volunteer. I mean, I had no intention to actually hit the man, but it was like the sudden appearance, and I couldn't control the car. And on the other side, if I am just going, मैंने थोड़ा सा वो ज़्यादा शहद ले लिया है, ठीक है, जो आजकल पकड़ा जाता है, and then I actually just hit someone who is just walking on the footpath. This is something that is actually under the, you know, is under the umbrella of law. I mean, I will be answerable when I am hitting someone with my bad intention, or I was in a condition that is not fit or okay for driving the car, because there are some conditions that are actually defined. So if you are not in the senses, you cannot drive the car. And if I am driving, I mean, it will be actually proven through the medical examination or the medical reports. And if it is the case, then yes, I am actually, you know, I mean, answerable. Okay, now what I said, we have the different philosophical, you know, approaches, different theories of the ethics. So one action may have the different interpretations, the different understandings, different, you know, kind of conclusions. Someone may say that it's okay, it was quite good. Some other may say that no, it's totally wrong. Okay, so different. That's why we cannot say that there is some kind of standard, you know, kind of ethical theory that is applicable in every situation. Okay, now just see this diagram, this figure. What does it mean? This statement: a good ethical theory supports persuasive logical arguments. Anyone? कोई भी बता दे यार. क्या चीज? नहीं, वो फिगर से शायद ऐसे लग रहा है. ठीक है, वो स्टेटमेंट क्या कह रही है?
सर कि किसी और कोई डिफरेंट बिलीफ रखता है, अगर आप उसको बताएं कि तुम्हारे बिलीफ के प्रॉस नहीं है, कॉन्स नहीं है, और मेरे बिलीफ के प्रॉस कॉन्स नहीं है, तो उसको परसुएड करें कि मेरा बिलीफ है तुम्हारे से बेहतर है. Okay.
Not necessarily we actually impose whatever we think. Okay, we are actually not, I mean, responsible for everyone to actually convince them that okay, think in a way that I am thinking. Okay, but yes, whatever is your decision, whatever is your understanding, so you need to actually justify that decision and that understanding to your other fellows, and those fellows, I mean, should be open-minded. Okay, if I say that okay, I am not going to actually admit anyone else's view, then it's like okay, it's at first place I am not interested to listen you. But if it is not the case, then you can actually convince me with some valid arguments, with some valid, you know, the kind of reasoning. So that's why we say that any ethical theory it should be like kind of persuasive to others. Those who have some kind of, logical sense, those with the logical sense, those with the logical reasoning, they can actually then get your viewpoint. Do you understand? Okay. Now the first ethical perspective or ethical theory is subjective relativism that we are going to discuss. Okay, what is relativism? What is relativity? What is relative marking? Relative grades? Anyone? What is relative grade? In some universities, in some subjects, maybe you heard this this term.
For example, someone has got the highest marks and others will get relative to that.
Someone gets highest marks and that actually falls in C grade. But the teacher say that because it's the highest, okay, it is awarded A grade. So that C becomes A. And then according to those grades, when C becomes A, then maybe the D becomes B. Okay, that is relative grading, that is relative marking. Okay, in many universities actually they follow this relative system. So now what is relativism in this context? There is nothing universal right and wrong. There is relative right and wrong, isn't it? What I said in the topic of integrity. In one situation, it suits me to actually to present the false information. So I say that it's okay because in this situation it is helpful for me. Then I say it's okay. In other situation, maybe someone else is doing it, I will say he is liar. He is dodging the system. He is actually, cheating. So because in that situation it is not benefiting me, that's why I say that he is a cheater. So this is relativity. In one situation it is okay, in other situation it is bad. So what is subjective relativism? Again, subjective means the personal opinion. Okay, so in my case I have my own right and wrong. In your case you have your right and wrong. That is called subjective relativism. One thing that is okay for me, that is quite bad perhaps for others. Okay. Now obviously it is not necessary that everyone has the same kind of understanding, have the same opinion on the different issues. We actually, if we have some sense, some common sense, some brain, then obviously we differ in our opinions. Okay, and obviously when we differ with some arguments, some rational approach. Okay, that's why you what I said, that once you actually you just say that okay, I am not going to actually listen you and I am not going to actually change my opinion, whatever you say, then actually it is useless to actually debate anything. Some people have very strong affiliation with political parties. So whatever their party is doing, they actually defend it. They actually support it. So in that case, there is no use of debate. You cannot convince. But if we are intelligent people, if we are open-minded, if we are open to others' perspectives, then yes, it's okay. Then we can actually change our opinions with the passage of time, with some arguments, with some, with some discussion. That is subject relativism. I mean, there is nothing standard, there is nothing fixed. We can change our opinions. That is, maybe today I have some opinion, I mean, on some specific issue that is quite on the one side, and later on with the passage of time, with my understanding, with my reading, I change my opinion on the same topic. Okay, so it means subjective relativism is not kind of something fixed. Okay, it changes. Now, what is something kind of disadvantage, or kind of not something good about subjective relativism? Just see, number one, that there is a quite blur line between what you do and what is right. I mean what you actually do and what is right. Okay, I am I am actually teasing others, and I say it's because my personal choice to actually just play music, okay, with full volume, and it's my home, it's my room, it's my actually player, so it's my choice how actually I play. So isn't it okay? I say it's okay for me, but I have to think about others. So similarly, when we actually, you see, no moral distinction between the actions of the different people. What does it mean? I mean, everyone has the personal inclinations, everyone has their personal right and wrong, okay, and then they are actually doing what they like. If we allow this kind of behavior, what do you say? That society will be the ideal society? No. Okay. So, okay, there is another discussion. This subjective relativism and the tolerance. What do you think about these concepts? I say I am quite tolerant. Okay, the people, whatever they are doing, it's okay. They can do it. It will be okay. Yes or no?
It will be okay for you, it might not be okay for someone.
Yes, it's not okay. If I am tolerant, okay, I can tolerate the intolerant people in my neighborhood, in my society. No, I cannot. Tolerance doesn't mean that, okay, whatever others are doing, they are allowed to do it. I mean, okay, the people who actually have the bikes with, quite noisy, without silencer, they are actually enjoying and celebrating Independence Day or some other days. So I say it's okay. No, it's not okay. There are some, moral implications as well as some legal implications. I said there are two different things. Okay, for those guys, yes, there are some legal, charges that are actually, those people can be charged. But in ethical context, maybe for someone it is okay, but not okay for others. So tolerance is something different than subjective relativism. Do you understand? Okay, then again, when I say it's my personal choice, and I am not actually bound to give any justification, any reasoning, then it means that my choice of decision is just based on my personal liking. So there is no reasoning. When you are actually doing, you are actually this kind of a person, then most probably people will not like you, isn't it? So, I mean, at the end, they actually say that this theory is not actually applicable or not actually workable for the different possible situations that need the ethical decisions. Isn't it? Subjective relativism is okay for maybe for individuals, and in journal it is not actually a very good approach. We as a Muslim, in this context, what do you say? Is it okay, this subject relativism? Not at all. अल्लाह ने हमें यही सिखाया ना कि भाई आपकी तो कोई चॉइस ही नहीं है. आप वो चॉइस उस सेंस में नहीं है कि मतलब अच्छा बुरा जो है अल्लाह ताला ने बता दिया है, ठीक है ना, अल्लाह ताला ने डिफाइन कर दिया है. अब आपने जो है उसके अकॉर्डिंगली चलना है. जो लेकिन वो कुरान मजीद की एक आयत का मफहूम है कि क्या तुमने उस शख्स को देखा है जिसने अपने नफ्स को अपना इलाह बना लिया. I say it's my life, it's my choice, none of your business. So this approach is not acceptable in Islam. Islam means the full submission to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When we are fully submitting to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then there is no, choice of right and wrong based on the personal liking and disliking. I have to be good with my neighbor, doesn't matter if he is good or bad with me. I mean, I have to do good. Now in personal, maybe I say, इसका चेहरा मुझे अच्छा नहीं लगता यार, ये इसके साथ ये ऐसे ही मुझे देख, वैसे होता भी है, आपको पता है, कुछ लोग मुझे वैसे ही नहीं अच्छे लगते हैं, ऐसे ही आप देखते हैं इनके साथ नहीं बनेंगी. ये क्या बात हुई भाई? चेहरे से थोड़ी डिसाइड करना है कि इसके साथ बनेगी या नहीं बनेगी. कई दफा ऐसे हुआ है कि जिन लोगों के बारे में मैंने सोचा ना कि यार ये वैसे ही लगते हैं, बस इनके साथ नहीं गपशप हो सकती, तो बाद में मेरे बड़े अच्छे दोस्त बन गए. ऐसे ही है ना, होता है. तो मतलब वो पर्सनल लाइकिंग डिसलाइकिंग वो अच्छा, इस बहुत सारी जगहों पे ऐसे होता है. इन मैनी ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस वी हैव दिस काइंड ऑफ subject relativism. There is no crystal clear policy about the employees, about the things that how to do, okay, and then they say, okay, who is asking? There is some saying, okay, show me your face, I will tell you the policy. So in other words, it is called nepotism. It is another discussion, okay. We just award benefits or some extra kind of favors to those who are actually in our close circle, those who are aligned with us, and we actually don't give the due favor to those who are actually kind of dislikes. So it's actually subjective relativism is not good in journal, and specifically when we are talking about Islam. समझ रहे हैं ना बात आप? Okay, number 2 is cultural relativism. Now right and wrong is actually based on the culture. Different cultures have the different morality. We already discussed it. Any example of cultural differences? I mean, any example of two same thing into different cultures or the different opinions in the cultural context? Any example? बताएं, कोई भी आप में से कोई बताए. बिल्कुल सही है. Hijab, wearing hijab is quite okay in our society, but nowadays in different European countries they have banned on hijab. So now it's something like the cultural differences. So it is cultural relativism. They say, and again, if we talk about the European countries, it is actually the contradiction. They say that okay, everyone is actually free to whatever his or her choices of dressing. They have no objection if someone is naked laying on the beach, but if someone is wearing hijab, then it is like, okay, it's disturbing the society. It's contradictory. But anyways, There are some, like what I said, time management, observing the time, being punctual. Like in our society, it is not like something bad when we are late. But in some other societies, in some other cultures, they actually mind it. And they, I said to my, one Saudi friend that I got the email from Saudi department that it will be done in 24 hours. And that email was sent day before yesterday. Now, 48 hours already, passed. He said to me, brother, it's Saudi Arabia, okay? It's for 24 hours mean maybe 1 week time, maybe. So don't take tension. Be relaxed. I said, okay, it's okay. It's normal in Pakistan too. It's nothing. Nothing strange for me, isn't it? It's not good, but it's our normal practice. We don't observe the timings. We don't observe the actually whatever we promise. In our offices, we used to say, "Kal aa jaye." When you visit, the person disappears. Okay, what we are saying, relativism in general, subjective relativism, there is no right and wrong, standard right and wrong. In the same way, there is no standard right and wrong for the cultures. Different cultures have the different values. Okay, in one culture something is quite acceptable and that may be actually considered bad or unacceptable in other culture. But we should respect each other. We should respect whatever the values of the other culture. Okay, until unless it affects actually your personal beliefs or your personal, your personal surrounding. ऐसा है ना, मतलब दूसरे के कल्चर को आप वो करेंगे. अब एक कल्चर के अंदर ड्रिंकिंग जो है वो बड़ा कॉमन है, तो इसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि आप मतलब उनको कुछ नहीं कहेंगे, लेकिन इसका मतलब ये भी नहीं है कि आप भी उनके साथ शामिल हो जाएं. ठीक है, आपके अपने बिलीफ्स हैं, अपनी वैल्यूज हैं, आपने उसको ऑब्जर्व करना है. बट इसका मतलब ये भी नहीं है कि डंडा लेकर पकड़ के खड़े हो जाएं कि भाई इधर मैं किसी को नहीं करने दूंगा ड्रिंकिंग. ठीक है, इन दैट कल्चर इट्स ओके. ऐसा ही है ना. तो देखें, इट्स आल्सो क्वाइट पॉसिबल इन वन सोसाइटी, इन वन कल्चर समथिंग इज क्वाइट acceptable, and later on that same thing is not acceptable within that society. We have two different cultures, they have the different understanding, they have different perspectives, but within a culture, within a society, we may have the different beliefs, different moral values at different times. Okay, कोई इसकी एग्जांपल दे सकते हैं आप? एनी एग्जांपल? नो जी.
किसी ने कत्ल किया वो तो
सही.
वो जो आंच हो सकती है, या तो वो किसी ने किसी रिलेटिव को मारा हो, दूसरे ने मारा तो जायज इस्लाम में है. और दूसरा अगर उसने बगैर किसी ने मारा,
ये अपनी जगह पे एक ठीक है एग्जांपल, लेकिन जो मैं कहना चाह रहा हूँ ना कि समथिंग दैट वाज क्वाइट ओके, एक्सेप्टेबल इन अ सोसाइटी, एंड लेटर ऑन और अर्लियर दैट वाज नॉट एक्सेप्टेबल. One example is slavery. Even in America, in Europe, okay, maybe 100 years ago or maybe 150 years ago, it was quite normal. People have the slaves, the human beings. Now it is not acceptable. Maybe in some very remote area of today's world, there is this kind of culture, but now it's kind of obsolete thing. आप देखें ना, जो अभी रिसेंट टाइम के अंदर है, ठीक है, इन यूएस ब्लैक एंड वाइट्स दे हैव, it was quite obvious that they have the different kind of rights in their own culture, in their own society. ठीक है, लेकिन अब वो जो है चेंज हो गया है. ठीक है, they have different school for the whites, they have the different areas for the whites, and blacks are not allowed to those areas. Blacks are not allowed to those schools. But now if you say that you are discriminating in that society, it is a kind of मतलब बहुत बड़ा इल्ज़ाम है ये, और बहुत बुरा फील करेंगे कि भाई मैं किसी को डिस्क्रिमिनेट कर रहा हूँ. वो मेरे दोस्त हैं कुछ स्वीडन में रहते हैं, तो वो कहते हैं कि जब किसी ऑफिस में अगर आप किसी स्वीड को ये कहते हैं ना कि भाई यू आर डिस्क्रिमिनेटिंग, कि भाई मैं एशियन हूँ और आप मुझे इसलिए जो है ना टाइम ज्यादा ले रहे हो या मेरी एप्लीकेशन को इंटरटेन नहीं कर रहे हो, तो उनको पसीने छूट जाते हैं। ठीक है, ऑल दो के अगेन देखें डिफरेंट, मतलब विद इन देयर कल्चर, विद इन देयर सोसाइटी, ठीक है, वो बहुत ही अच्छे हैं। मतलब ये आप इस चीज को, हम अब डिस्कशन कर रहे हैं ना एथिक्स की और इन चीजों की, हमने अपने कॉन्टेक्स्ट में भी चीजों को देखना है। अल्लाह ताला ने हमें भी समझ दी है, हमारा भी कुछ अपना बिलीफ है, ठीक है। उनके जो एथिक्स है, ठीक है, अगेन डिफरेंट कॉन्टेक्स्ट के अंदर वो कंट्राडिक्टरी है। वहां पे कोई जानवर मर गया, उसकी उनको बड़ी वो टेंशन हो जाती है, बड़ी उसकी प्रवाह होती है, ठीक है। बाकी किसी और मुल्क के ऊपर चढ़ाई कर दें, वहां पे लाखों बंदों को मार दें, तो कोई परवाह नहीं होती है, ठीक है, देन इट्स ओके। अभी आगे भी हम इसको पढ़ेंगे। देखें वो जो था डिफेंस में जो उसका मिनिस्टर था अमेरिका का बुश टाइम में, ठीक है, उसने कहा यूएस के अंदर खड़े होकर उसने कहा कि जी इनके पास जो है ना वो वेपन्स ऑफ मास डिस्ट्रक्शन है इराक के पास, ठीक है, एंड दे इन्वेडेड, पूरे इराक को उन्होंने तबाह कर दिया। उसके बाद उन्होंने एडमिट कर लिया कि ऐसा कुछ नहीं था, ठीक है। तो अब यहाँ पे एथिक्स कहाँ पे है, मतलब वो उसको कोई नहीं वो जस्टिफाई करते हैं, ठीक है। अपने उधर जो है वो एक बिल्ली भी मर जाए तो उसके लिए मसला खड़ा हो जाता है। अभी आप देखें कितना बायस्ड है जो इंटरनेशनल मीडिया है, कि जब कभी कोई बंदा वहां पे मारता है, फायरिंग करता है, बंदे मारता है, स्कूल में बच्चे मारता है, ठीक है, वो कहते हैं ये साइको केस था, अगर वो नॉन मुस्लिम है, ठीक है। और जैसे ही उनको पता चलता है ये कोई मुस्लिम था, ठीक है, अगेन वो मुस्लिम का इंडिविजुअल वो एक्शन है ना, तो वो कहते हैं कि टेररिस्ट। सारी दुनिया की जो मीडिया है उसके अंदर हेडलाइन आ जाती है कि टेररिस्ट, मुस्लिम टेररिस्ट। तो मतलब हमें इसको अपने तौर पे देखना है। अभी आगे जो डिस्कशन आ रही है ना उसके अंदर भी हमें अपने दीन के कॉन्टेक्स्ट में भी उसको देखना है, अभी डिस्कस करते हैं उसको। अच्छा चले वापस इस पे आते हैं कि विद इन सोसाइटी, ओके, we have different norms at different times. One action or one moral value is okay at a specific time, but that is not acceptable at some other time. Now, I mean, what is the conclusion about this cultural relativism? Yes, we are different, although we are same. All are human beings, but we have different inclinations, we have different values, we have different, surroundings. So we need to respect each other's values, okay? We shouldn't be ignorant, okay? We shouldn't be, I mean, ignorant in terms of that, okay, we have no knowledge about others' culture, okay? We have no understanding about others' cultures. And at the same time, we shouldn't be arrogant. That okay, I feel pride in my values, in my cultural norms, and then I actually disrespect the others' values, the others, whatever their norms are. Okay? Okay, this is again just a kind of, the summary of all those possible, the points of interest in this context, cultural relativism. Number one, two societies do have different moral values. Yes, we are agreed. We have no actually disagreement. Okay, but what does it mean that it is not necessary that I am actually, is what I should call it. I am not actually bound to get the the same understanding, and I have to actually practice whatever the values of that culture. As I said, if I am in other culture, I have to respect, but it doesn't mean that I also own those values, okay? Number two is actually, again, moral guidelines. I mean, we have some norms with the passage of time, like in some, in Southern America, okay, there are some countries are in maybe in Africa, when there is some, someone dies, they have like drums, they are beating it, and they are actually decorating the dead body, and then with some belongings they actually bury it. In some other cultures, they are quite sad, and they have quite different way to actually how to do this ceremony. Okay, so the different, I mean, it has nothing with some moral, the values. Cultural norms may be quite different. Okay? What if there are no cultural norms? No. Okay, what are your understanding if I say there are no cultural norms? Is it possible? हम कहते हैं सारे हजरत आदम अलैहिस्सलाम से है ना, हजरत आदम और हजरत हवा से, ऐसा ही है ना. We at least have some minimum, set of core values that everyone actually possess or everyone have. Like what I said in the beginning of my lecture, that we want shelter to live, we want food to live, we need security. So it means that there are some common values, some core values, some universal values that are kind of built in. These cultures are like, we are separated, and then with the passage of time we actually developed our own norms. But at least we have a minimum set of core values that are kind of built in, that are kind of by default setting, that we own. That's why we say that, there is one universal language, that is your body language. मेरी अम्मा जी गई उम्रा करने के लिए और वहाँ पे उनको जो है ना वो उर्दू भी मतलब सही तरीके से नहीं बोल सकती है, तो अफ्रीकन जो है ना औरतों के साथ और जो है ना अरब की औरतों के साथ बैठ के तो शुरू हो जाएंगे, यहाँ भाई तू कितों आई हैं, भाई आप कहाँ से आए हो, और अच्छा इधर हो. वो आगे से मुस्कुरा रही है कोई बीबी जो दूसरी है, ठीक है, और दोनों जो है ना दोनों पार्टीज कोई अपने अपने मीनिंग भी निकाल रहे हैं उससे कि भाई ये कह रहे हैं. ऐसे ही है ना, जैसे हम अक्सर करते हैं छोटे बच्चे के साथ, इन्फेंट बेबी होता है ना जो बिल्कुल ही छोटा होता है, तो वो जो भी कर रहा होता है, अच्छा देखो बड़ा खुश हो रहा है, ये कब इसको भूख लगी है, इसको ये कह रहा है, मतलब अपने पास से बातें बना रहे होते हैं, ठीक है. लेकिन स्टिल वी हैव सम, व्हेन वी हैव सम काइंड ऑफ काइंड जेस्चर्स टू अदर्स, डेफिनेटली दे अंडरस्टैंड इट. आप किसी को स्माइल पास करते हैं तो वो खुशी होता है ना, उसे पता चलता है कि यार इसका मूड ठीक है, भाई नाश्ता वाश्ता करके आया है, ठीक है. और अदर वे राउंड भी हो सकता है, ऐसा ही है ना. तो still we have some common values, ठीक है, we may say core values. अच्छा, it provides no way out for cultures in conflict. और ये क्या बात हुई भाई, ये कोई समझा सकता है? It provides no way out for cultures in conflict. I mean cultural relativism, when you have different beliefs, when you are not actually open to others, then obviously you are not actually going to mingle with. आपको पता है ये जो अक्सर हमारे लोग जाते हैं पाकिस्तानी खास तौर पे, ठीक है, यूरोप के अंदर, तो उनको आपसे एक शिकायत ये होती है ना कि ये हमारे साथ उस तरह से मिक्स नहीं होते हैं. अब हमारे अपने बिलीफ हैं, ठीक है, और वो एक डिफरेंट कल्चर है, तो उस कल्चर के अंदर फिर हम, जैसे अभी मैंने आपको कहा ना कि ड्रिंकिंग वो करते हैं, तो ठीक है ये उनका अपना कल्चर है ना, लेकिन वो ड्रिंकिंग मेरे लिए मतलब अलाउड नहीं है ना, अगर मैं अपने दीन को प्रैक्टिस करना चाहता हूँ. तो जब मैं उनकी पार्टीज में नहीं जाऊंगा तो फिर इसका मतलब यही है ना कि मैं उनके साथ मिक्स नहीं हो रहा हूँ, ठीक है ना. अब इस तरह की बहुत सारी और चीजें हैं, तो इसीलिए फिर उनको प्रॉब्लम रहता है, फिर उनको वो एलियन लगते हैं कि यार ये हमारे पास रह के भी हमारे साथ काइंड ऑफ स्ट्रेंजर्स हैं. इसीलिए वो कोशिश करते हैं डिफरेंट तरह से, अच्छा इनको लैंग्वेज सिखाओ, इनको अपने साथ इंटरेक्ट कराओ. हालांकि वी एज ए मुस्लिम शुड open in a way that we should learn their language, we should learn their culture. We should have the good understanding. क्या आप देखें कल्चर की डिफरेंट बड़ी इम्प्लीकेशन है कल्चर की. एक हम ये इस तरह से कहते हैं ना वो चीज, ठीक है, पॉइंट आउट करते हैं, पाकिस्तान में कोई इसको माइंड नहीं करता है, ऐसा ही है ना, किसी की तरफ हमने इशारा करना है ऐसे करते हैं. लेकिन यही चीज अगर मलेशिया में आप ऐसे करेंगे वो बहुत बुरा मनाएंगे, ठीक है. वो कैसे इशारा करते हैं, वो ऐसे करते हैं. अब ये जस्ट है तो एक आपका एक बॉडी जेस्चर है ना, ठीक है ना, एक पोस्चर है आपका, लेकिन इसके डिफरेंट मीनिंग है और डिफरेंट कल्चर्स के अंदर बहुत इसको ऑकवर्ड फील किया जाएगा, ऐसा ही है ना। तो मतलब मैं वो जो कह रहा हूँ कि दूसरे के कल्चर की अंडरस्टैंडिंग लेनी चाहिए और फिर उसके साथ उनके साथ मिक्स होना चाहिए इन द सेंस कि यार हम उनको अपनी अपनी जो अच्छी बातें उनके साथ शेयर कर सकें। जो मैंने लास्ट टाइम भी पता नहीं आपको कहा था ना कि पाकिस्तानी भी कहीं जाते हैं पाकिस्तान से बाहर, तो हम क्या करते हैं, पाकिस्तानियों में ही रहते हैं, मिक्स ही नहीं होते हैं दूसरों के साथ। तो भाई हम कैसे, मतलब इस आल्सो वे ऑफ लर्निंग। जब आप दूसरों को सुनते हैं, दूसरों को समझते हैं, ठीक है। वो एक जो है ना मैक्सिकन था हमारा, एक वहाँ पे यूनिवर्सिटी फेलो था, हॉस्टल में रहता था स्वीडन में। वो कहता है कि यार तुमने यहाँ पे आके भी पराठे खाने नहीं छोड़े। तो मतलब पराठे खाना अपनी जगह पे एक वो है ना, ठीक है, एक आपकी आदत है, हैबिट है, आप नाश्ते में खाते हैं, लेकिन दूसरे ऑप्शन भी ट्राई करने में हर्ज कोई नहीं है, ठीक है। वो एक जर्मन हमारे साथ था, वो कहते हैं कि भाई ये एक पिज्जा मैं लेके आता हूँ, ठीक है, बना बनाया मार्केट से, जो वो फ्रोजन, और इसको मैं इधर 2 मिनट गर्म करता हूँ, 3 मिनट गर्म करता हूँ ओवन में, और फिर उसके बाद इसको 1 घंटा एंजॉय करता हूँ। आप लोग 3 घंटे किचन में लगाते हो, बिरयानी बनाते हो हैं, और जो भी खाना बनाते हो अपने स्टाइल में। भाई आटा गूंथते थे हम, जब पहले स्वीडन में गए तो 2 लोग मिलके हम जो है ना आटा गूंथते थे। एक ने बर्तन पकड़ा होता था, दूसरा गूंद रहा होता था, क्योंकि वो स्लिप हो जाता था बर्तन ही। तो उसके बाद फिर रोटियां बनाते थे, उसके बाद साथ में सालन बन रहा है। वो 3 घंटे लगे इस प्रोसेस में। जब खाने के लिए बैठते हैं 10 मिनट में खाया और बर्तन साइड पे करो, चलो भाई है। वो मुमताज मुफ्ती कहता है कि हम खाना जो है ना इसको भी काम समझ के करते हैं। यार ये काम है करना है यार, ये जल्दी जल्दी करो। जैसे फौजी है ना, भूख लगी है नहीं लगी, 12 बज गए, खाना खाओ है। तो मतलब खाना एक ऐसी चीज है जिसको एंजॉय करना चाहिए, जिसको अच्छी तरह, जैसे अब ये तो वैसे भी है ना, दीन के हवाले से भी है और वैसे हेल्थ के, मेडिकल साइंस के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से भी है कि हमें अच्छी तरह च्यू करना चाहिए, अच्छी तरह चबाना चाहिए। हम क्या करते हैं, जल्दी जल्दी अंदर बस, ठीक है। वो एक मेरे कुलीग कहने लगे कि कोरियन सेइंग है कि भाई इवन इफ यू आर ड्रिंकिंग वाटर, च्यू इट 30 टाइम्स, ठीक है। कि मतलब कोई भी चीज आप वो खा रहे हैं उसको अच्छी तरह चबाया ना, तो हम तो करते ही नहीं है, इसलिए तोंदे निकली हुई हैं। तो कल्चरल हम बात कर रहे थे, कल्चरल डिफरेंसेस की, ठीक है, कि हमें वी शुड बी ओपन टू अदर्स कल्चर्स, ठीक है, और दूसरों के साथ मिक्स होके ही हम लर्न कर सकते हैं बहुत सारी चीजें। डिफरेंट आप देखें, अब मैंने जो पहले एक आपको बात की थी, दोबारा मैं रिपीट कर रहा हूं कि जब आप ग्रुप्स बनाते हैं ना असाइनमेंट्स के लिए, तो आपको अपने ग्रुप्स बनाने चाहिए डिफरेंट लोगों के साथ। ये नहीं है कि हर सब्जेक्ट के अंदर एक ही ग्रुप है। भाई आपको एक दूसरे का पता होता है, आप कुछ दिन इंटरेक्ट करते हैं ना कि ये किस तरह सोचता है, आपको पता होता है ये क्या जवाब देगा, ये कहेगा, तो भाई वही पर्सपेक्टिव हर चीज में, हर उसमें आएगा आपके, ठीक है। जब आप डिफरेंट लोगों के साथ ग्रुप्स बनाएंगे तो डिफरेंट लोगों के साथ, ये इट्स ए पार्ट ऑफ योर लर्निंग दैट हाउ टू वर्क इन अ टीम, ठीक है ना। आप यू शुड बी अ गुड टीम मेंबर। तो गुड टीम मेंबर बनने के लिए जरूरी है कि आप इंटरेक्ट करें दूसरों के साथ, डिफरेंट लोगों के साथ ग्रुप असाइनमेंट्स करें, ठीक है। आप उसके अंदर आपकी लर्निंग होगी। ये नहीं है कि वो पहले सेमेस्टर में जो ग्रुप बन गया है, फाइनल ईयर प्रोजेक्ट भी उसके साथ करना है। मेरे पास 3 स्टूडेंट्स आते रहे फाइनल ईयर प्रोजेक्ट, हम उनको मतलब कह रहे हैं कि भाई आपका स्कोप लिमिटेड है, आप 3 लोग नहीं कर सकते हैं, इसको 2 में कर लें। आप 3 क्यों इकट्ठे करना चाहते हैं सर? वो हम शुरू से इकट्ठे हैं ना, ये तो कोई जस्टिफिकेशन नहीं है ना। अच्छा, वो फिर जाते हैं, फिर वो ग्रुप नहीं चेंज करते हैं कि हम 2 लोग कर ले, नहीं, वो टॉपिक चेंज करते हैं। नहीं, कोई ऐसा टॉपिक लेके आते हैं जिसपे 3 लोग फिट हो जाए, इतनी दोस्ती है। अल्टीमेटली तो कहीं ना कहीं लायदा हो जाना है ना आपने, कभी आपने जॉब में जाना है कहीं, ये तो नहीं है कि एक ही कंपनी जो है वो तीनों को जो है वो इकट्ठे जॉब देगी है। वो मेरी एक क्लास में 2 जो है ना जुड़वा भाई थे, ठीक है, ट्विन थे, तो वो कहने लगे कि हमने 2 जुड़वा बहनें देख ली है रिश्ता, मतलब जिनके साथ शादी करनी। अब ये तो बड़ा आइडियल सिनेरियो है ना, अदरवाइज ऐसे तो रियल लाइफ में तो ऐसे नहीं होता है, आमतौर पर ऐसे नहीं होता है। अच्छा, ये देखें, ये वही पॉइंट है अगेन कि एग्जिस्टेंस ऑफ मैनी एक्सेप्टेबल प्रैक्टिसेस डजंट मीन दैट दोस प्रैक्टिसेस आर एक्सेप्टेबल टू अदर्स, ओके। एंड ऑब्वियसली व्हाट आई सेड, societies actually share the certain core values. If we have no norms, no cultural norms, still we have some common values, some common, norms that are kind of universal, that are applicable, okay. And again, when we say that there is some, some sort of relativism, it is also indirectly based on some reasoning. ठीक है, ऐसा नहीं होता कि बिल्कुल हवा में हर चीज ना कुछ उसकी रीजन होती है. जैसे हमारे प्रोवर्ब्स है ना, अगर आप देखें जो लैंग्वेज के अंदर जो प्रोवर्ब्स हैं, ठीक है, उनके पीछे भी एक बड़ी क्या कहना चाहिए कि बड़ी उसके पीछे एक हिकमत होती है. ठीक है, एक नॉलेज होता है, एक एक्सपीरियंस होता है. जो भी आप उर्दू, पंजाबी, इंग्लिश के जो भी देखें प्रोवर्ब्स देखें, इस तरह की जो सेइंग्स हैं, ठीक है, वो बड़ी वैल्यूएबल हैं. जब आप उसको देखते हैं तो उसके अंदर आपको लगता है कि वाकई इसके अंदर विजडम है. ठीक है ना. ओके, अगेन इट्स नॉट वर्केबल एथिकल थ्योरी. ठीक है, इट्स वर्केबल बट स्टिल they say it's not workable. We can actually debate. Okay, we cannot say about any ethical theory that this is kind of perfect. Okay, divine command theory is actually belongs to the divine power, the God, the ultimate power. What is good, that is aligned with the God's will. What is bad, that is actually forbidden by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And not actually Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In this context, we are saying the term God, the ultimate power, the ultimate creator. ठीक है ना. ये इसको हमने अपने दीन के कॉन्टेक्स्ट में नहीं देखना है. ठीक है, इसको हमने एथिकल थ्योरी के कॉन्टेक्स्ट में देखना है कि लोगों के जो डिफरेंट कॉन्सेप्ट्स हैं गॉड के बारे में. ठीक है ना. जब देखें जो इथियस्ट है, जो खुदा को नहीं मानते हैं, जो गॉड, किसी गॉड पे बिलीफ नहीं रखते हैं, वो भी कहते हैं कि हाँ कोई बिग बैंग हुआ ना, कोई एक स्टार्ट में कोई एक अल्टीमेट कुछ ऐसी कोई पावर, कुछ ऐसी सुप्रीम पावर है जिसकी वजह से ये सारी यूनिवर्स बन गई ना. ठीक है, तो हमने इसको ये नहीं देखना कि हम इस्लाम को डिस्कस कर रहे हैं यहाँ पे. ठीक है, हम इसको डिस्कस कर रहे हैं इन जनरल जो दुनिया के मजहब हैं. ठीक है, जो खुदा के बारे में कोई आइडिया रखते हैं, कोई व्यू रखते हैं, वो उसकी यहाँ पे डिस्कशन हो रही है. ठीक है, तो अब वो क्या कह रहा है कि गुड एक्शंस आर दोज एक्शंस दैट आर अलाइन विद द गॉड्स विल एंड बैड एक्शंस आर एक्चुअली द कंट्राडिक्टरी टू अल्लाहस विल. सॉरी, अगेन आई से अल्लाह बिकॉज आई एम यूज्ड टू से, ओके, द गॉड्स विल. ओके, और फिर अगेन क्या है कि देयर आर डिफरेंट होली बुक्स दैट आर एक्चुअली यू नो द काइंड ऑफ द गाइड्स फॉर दोज रिलीजन्स, एंड बेस्ड ऑन दोज आई मीन गाइडेंस दे एक्चुअली प्रैक्टिस whatever they actually understand that it's good, that it is the God's commandment. Okay, and obviously they actually say that okay, the holy books can be actually used for the guidance. Whatever you want to take the decision, you have to have some guidance in the holy book. Okay, just this is an example that stealing is wrong. This is a commandment of or the teaching of any religion. So being a good follower of that specific religion, I have to obey, I have to follow this teaching. And obviously we have the different religions, and the religions that are with holy books, the very well known is like Christianity, Islam, Judaism. These are the very well known actually religions. Okay, now we are the creation of that supreme creator, so that's why we have to obey whatever is commanded. This is actually the philosophy of this divine command theory. And we have the belief, I mean any believer of the religion, okay, he or she thinks actually the God is all knowing. That's why actually whatever is commanded, that should be followed. Okay, and obviously God is the ultimate authority. By the way, this is our belief. Being a Muslim, we believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We say Allah is the supreme authority, Allah is the sovereign. ठीक है, आपको पता है ये जब गिलानी साहब, मैं अक्सर कहता हूँ, गिलानी साहब जब प्राइम मिनिस्टर थे ना, तो वो कहते थे द पार्लियामेंट इज सॉवरेन. ठीक है, वो हो सकता है शायद डेमोक्रेसी के कॉन्टेक्स्ट में कहते हो, लेकिन हमारा बिलीफ है कि अल्लाह इज सॉवरेन. अल्लाह की कमांडमेंट्स, हमारा भी वो जो ऑब्जेक्टिव रेजोल्यूशन है उसके अंदर लिखा हुआ है कि व्हाट एवर विल बी एक्चुअली यू नो इज डन, इट विल बी अंडर द कुरान एंड सुन्ना. ठीक है ना, जो कुछ भी होगा वो कुरान और हदीस के मुताबिक होगा. ठीक, तो इसीलिए जो है वो यहाँ पे जो बात लिखी है ना, गॉड इज द अल्टीमेट अथॉरिटी. ठीक है, ओके, नाउ केस अगेंस्ट द डिवाइन कमांड. अगेन you should treat it as you know, as a topic in ethics in journal. It's not about Islam in specific, okay? So it's a kind of, you know, argument that different holy books have the different teaching. They have the disagreement between two holy books. It's quite possible. It's, being a Muslim, it's our belief that the earlier holy books are actually changed with the passage of time by different people, okay? Like in Christianity, they have the different versions of the Bible, isn't it? But in case of Quran, it is our belief that no one actually can change it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is actually the saver or the muhafiz or the guide. कि अल्लाह ताला ने कहा है कि भाई कुरान चेंज नहीं हो सकता, मैं खुद इसका मुहाफिज हूँ, मैं खुद इसको जो है ना, इस मेरे ज़िम्मे है इसकी हिफाजत करना, ठीक है? लेकिन ये हमारा बिलीफ है, मतलब हम भी इस बात को अंडरस्टैंड करते हैं कि जो बाकी बुक्स हैं, ठीक है, विद द पैसेज ऑफ टाइम वो चेंज हो गई हैं, एंड देन यू कैन एक्चुअली फाइंड द कंट्रडिक्शन इन दोज बुक्स, विद इन दोज बुक्स, ठीक है ना? जो बाइबल की वर्जन है उसी के अंदर आपको कंट्रडिक्टरी स्टेटमेंट्स और चीज़ें मिल जाएंगी, ठीक है? अच्छा, नाउ अगेन द केस अगेंस्ट, हम इसके अगेंस्ट आर्गुमेंट्स दे रहे हैं कि व्हाई इट इज नॉट एक्चुअली एप्लीकेबल दिस डिवाइन कमांड थ्योरी. दे से दैट नाउ सोसाइटी इज मल्टीकल्चरल, सोसाइटी इज सेकुलर. आपको पता है ना कि यूरोप के अंदर ये क्यों वो इतने दीन से दूर चले गए, क्यों इतने दीन से बेजार हो गए? व्हाई दे आर एथियस्ट? क्यों उन्होंने मजहब को बिल्कुल एक साइड पर रख दिया? बताएं, हैं क्या चीज बताएं, ऊंची आवाज में बताएं. गाइडलाइन नहीं है, नहीं, ऐसी बात नहीं है. उनकी गाइडलाइन है, लेकिन उनके जो पॉप थे ना, जो उनके जो मजहबी जो पेशवा थे, उन्होंने इतना उसको ट्विस्ट किया दीन को, ठीक है, जो उनकी टीचिंग्स थी, कि हर चीज के अंदर उन्होंने अपनी जो है ना, अपनी राय को दीन बना के बताया और उनको फोर्स करने की कोशिश की. तो फिर उन्होंने कहा कि यार ये तो हमें कोई काम नहीं करने देंगे, ठीक है, तो इसलिए इनको जरा साइड पे कर दो, ठीक है. मजहब फिर हर एक का पर्सनल जो है ना, इंडिविजुअल वो अफेयर है, वो जैसे मर्जी करता है उसको करने दो, और बाकी जो है ना, बस जो डेवलपमेंट करनी है, जो दुनिया में बाकी काम करने, वो हमारी मर्जी है, ठीक है. तो इस वजह से जो है ना, वो इतने बेजार हो गया दीन से, ठीक है. और इसलिए वो ये जो कॉन्सेप्ट है सेकुलर, ठीक है, सेकुलर कॉन्सेप्ट क्या है? दैट रिलीजन इज एक्चुअली द पर्सनल अफेयर, ओके. You have to do what you want to do in your premises. It is nothing, I mean, and has no relation with the society. Your personal beliefs, your personal religious affair has nothing with the society. Okay? Inshallah, in next lecture we will discuss further.